Hey guys, it is me, the former film student, and happy Halloween, guys. It is October 31st. Of course, it's Halloween. And today we are reviewing none other than, of course, Halloween. So, Halloween was released in 1978, directed by John Carpenter, cinematography done by the excellent Dean Cundey. The film stars Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Nick Castle as Michael Myers. And guys, this is my favorite horror film of all time. I think I've mentioned it on this channel before, but if you haven't seen those videos where I mentioned it, Halloween is and will always be my favorite horror film. A horror film could come out that is a perfect 10 out of 10, and it'll never replace Halloween as my favorite horror film. And maybe that's biased, maybe that's a stupid way to view things, but to me, a favorite film is not just the film that you think is the best, but it's a film that has an emotional impact on you, a film that has impacted your life in a certain way, and it's a film that you constantly return to and you never get bored by it. And to me, that's Halloween. I don't think it's the best made horror film of all time. I don't think as a film it's better than The Shining or The Exorcist. I don't even think as a film it's better made than a film like Hereditary. I think those are more competently put together films from technical standpoints and from story standpoints, but Halloween to me is that movie that I watched when I was a young kid, and it absolutely impacted me in the best way possible. This was the film that got me to love horror films and got me into the genre, and for that it'll always have a special place in my heart. But all that being said, Halloween is a fucking fantastic movie from almost every conceivable standpoint. The movie is incredibly well directed by John Carpenter. He is a phenomenal, phenomenal director and really knows how to handle a scene and clearly knows how to make a great horror film. Between this and The Thing, the guy just knows what he's doing. And a lot of what I love about this film is the directing and the cinematography combination of John Carpenter and Dean Cundey, as a lot of the cinematography in this film is very long, wide shots that are just tracking the characters and following them, because I think that perfectly emulates the antagonist of the film. And again, I love purposeful cinematography. And when the main antagonist of the film is Michael Myers, a man who for the first 30-40 minutes of this film just kind of lurks in the shadows and watches his victims from a distance, I think that the cinematography also sort of holding back from a distance and watching our characters as they just move throughout their day, I think is a brilliant decision. And Dean Cundey as a cinematographer, if you guys don't know, he has done some fantastic films and is a visionary in every sense of the word, as he's done the first three Halloween films, which are easily the best looking Halloween movies in the franchise. He did The Thing, he did Jurassic Park, he did Back to the Future, and just so many other countless different films, and has such a great visual style, and all of those films look absolutely gorgeous. From the 70s to the 90s, the man just has an unbelievable catalog of films, and if you guys have never checked out his filmography, definitely go on Wikipedia and just see all of the different films that he was the director of photography for, because it really is that impressive. Another thing that I absolutely love about this film is Michael Myers as a character and how they handle him, because he is introduced in such a unique and interesting way. Not only the opening of the film, which is such a brilliant way to open a movie with this sort of POV shot, moving throughout the house, grabbing a knife, and then you go upstairs and you just see it stab the hell out of this girl, and you're not sure why. She's just screaming, Michael, 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 as she's being stabbed to death, and all you're given is that this guy's name is Michael, and you're expecting it to be this, middle-aged guy or someone who's like a teenager, or it's just, and then the character gets outside and the mask is pulled off, and it's a 6-year-old kid who looks like every other normal child you've ever seen. It's a little blonde-haired kid in a clown costume, and you're just completely shaken to your core, and you're like, holy shit, this little kid just murdered, like brutally murdered this woman. And it's a perfect way to open up the film, and the score kicks in. Oh my god, the excellent John Carpenter score for this film. This movie would not be half the movie it is without the music in it. It is such an iconic and vital aspect of this film. It is one of the best written tracks of all time, not just in horror films, but in films, period. he did a phenomenal fucking job writing the music for this movie. Not just the main theme that everybody knows, but even the smaller scale tracks throughout the film are absolutely brilliant. And God, the music in this movie is just so good. But anyway, the music kicks in. You have that shot of the pumpkin, which is spectacular. Which I absolutely love, and I think just is a great visual for this movie. Moving on from that, you have the opening scene after the title, where it's just Sam Loomis played so excellently by Donald Pleasance, and I'll get into that performance in a minute. But you have this excellent scene where he's talking to his nurse who's driving the car, and they're driving to Smiths Grove Institute, where it's sort of like an insane asylum, and they're going to watch Michael Myers be transferred. He's going there to make sure everything runs smoothly. And the way he describes Michael Myers in that scene is absolutely brilliant as a setup for a character, as he refers to Michael Myers as it. And the nurse goes, "Don't you think we can refer to it as him?" And he goes, "If you insist." And you just hear it in his voice and in the performance that he does not view Michael Myers as human.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes.
He views him as this almost external evil entity of just pure evil, and all of the humanity that was Michael Myers is non-existent. And it's not the first time they do it in the film. Later on in the film, when he's trying to explain Michael Myers to Sheriff Brackett, and he describes him, how he watched him for 15 years just looking at a wall, looking past the wall, looking at this night, and it just adds so much to the scene and to the atmosphere of the movie, and you really get a sense of this is a man who knows Michael Myers. This is a guy who has spent 15 years of his life studying and examining Michael Myers, and this is what he thinks of him. This is what he thinks he's capable of, and it just adds so much to the character that before Michael is even killing people, you already know how dangerous and how lethal this man is. But getting into Donald Pleasance's performance, God, his delivery in this movie is spectacular. It is the best performance in the film by far. I don't think anyone even comes close to how good he is in this movie. And Dr. Sam Loomis is easily the best character in the franchise outside of Michael Myers. He's the most interesting. He shows up in the most movies, and it's really interesting, even as much as I don't love the Halloween sequels. They're more of guilty pleasures to me. I acknowledge they're not great films, but I still watch them and have fun with them. But moving past that, he's the only character that shows up in multiple films. And to sort of see his descent into madness as the films progress, and seeing him sort of lose his sanity slowly but surely as Michael Myers just seemingly cannot die, I think is really interesting and is easily the best part of the sequels. But Donald Pleasance does such a great job in this movie, as does Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. I think her performance is a little underrated, and as much as I hate the terms over and underrated, people rarely talk about her performance in this movie, and I think the best example of her acting in this movie comes at the end of the film, after the big showdowns happened, and after Sam Loomis has shot Michael 6 times in the chest and he falls off the balcony, and that whole ending is absolutely spectacular. One of my favorite endings to any horror film ever. I think it's brilliantly conceived, and it would have just been a great ending to the character of Michael Myers had they just ended the franchise there and never done a sequel to it, which they never planned on doing. If you guys don't know that, fun fact, they had only planned on doing one Halloween film starring Michael Myers, and they were going to make more Halloween movies, but they were going to be anthology movies where every different film was a different story taking place around the titular holiday. Anyway, if you guys didn't know that, fun fact. But yeah, the ending of the movie, Michael Myers gets shot off the balcony. Laurie Strode delivers this excellent line where she goes, "Was that the boogeyman?" And the way Jamie Lee Curtis delivers it is near perfection, because she spent the entire night watching her friends get murdered, being chased down by a psychopath in a white William Shatner's mask, with a butcher knife, trying to kill her, and you hear all the pain and tragedy and trauma in her voice, and it's such an excellent line delivery that does not get enough attention. And then you have Donald Pleasance giving a great response to her, saying, "In fact, it was." But that little exchange that they have, and Sam Loomis then getting up and going to check on Michael's body and looking down and seeing the body missing, and then the music, obviously picks up even more, and the movie just ends.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
Whew. What a fucking ending to the movie. My God. I love the ending to this film. And as a movie, I fucking love this movie. Not only does it have a special place in my heart, but I think this movie is just incredibly well made. The movie was made for a budget of $300,000, which may, again, sound like a lot to people who aren't in the filmmaking world, but in terms of actual films, feature length films, that is such a minuscule budget in terms of a movie like this. For a movie to look this good from a visual standpoint and to feel this professional and to have such a high production value and to be made for less than $500,000 is absolutely incredible to me. It's incredibly inspiring, and John Carpenter is such a brilliant director for being able to take such a small budget, a shoestring budget, and being able to make a film like this, which to this day is incredibly culturally iconic and remembered so fondly. Guys, I love Halloween. It's my favorite horror film of all time. It's going to remain that for probably until, I end up croaking. I love this film. It's a film that I watch every Halloween for obvious reasons. It's what else are you going to watch on Halloween? I understand everyone has their favorites, but to me, how are you going to not watch Halloween on Halloween? To me, it's the two go together like peanut butter and jelly. And I cannot wait to watch it tonight after work. I'm going to get home pretty late. I work till 10, but I'm going to watch it after work. And I cannot wait to just hear that theme hit again at the opening, to see that pumpkin, to see that jack-o'-lantern, the opening, and I cannot just wait to watch this movie. It is 90 minutes of perfection. To me, this is the greatest slasher film ever made. It's one of the best horror films ever made. It's my favorite horror film, and that's all I really have to say about it. If you guys have not checked out Halloween, what the fuck are you doing with your lives? Go watch this movie. It is truly incredible. If you haven't seen it, it's incredible. I think it still holds up to this day. I think Michael Myers is still really terrifying. I will never not be scared of Michael Myers. The emotionless blank face of the mask, the stiff and sort of robotic movements that he has, the way he sort of kills people in a less aggressive and just matter-of-fact kind of way always got to me. As a whole, this is a phenomenal film. That is it for today, guys. And not only it for today, but that is it for this series. Guys, I had a lot of fun making these reviews. It took a lot out of me, and for that, I'm probably going to be taking a short break, probably a week or two. You won't be seeing a video from me. I have some stuff that I plan on working on in November. One of them being a ranking video of the Harry Potter films. I'm going to binge those at some point and take a lot of notes and just see where the films fall in my ranking now. Because as much as I love, as much as horror films are an October thing for me, watching Harry Potter in November is also just as important to me. Same with watching Christmas movies around Christmas. November just feels like the time to watch the Harry Potter movies. But anyway, I'm going to be working on that. Obviously, I want to get back to working on my video essay on one of my favorite TV shows of all time, The Leftovers. So look forward to that as well. That'll probably come out sometime around December. I'm putting a lot of effort and work into that, and it had to be sidelined due to my October series. But that is all for today, guys. Again, I will be taking a short break. I hope you guys understand, but putting out a different review every day for 31 days straight on top of working 35 hours to 40 hours a week, it takes its toll on you. Especially when you don't work a normal schedule like I do. It's not Monday through Friday, where I can, film videos Saturday and Sunday. There's times I'll work Tuesday through Sunday and then have like a Monday off and then work Tuesday through Friday. And there's days where I get off, at 10 o'clock at night, and then have to wake up at 8 a.m. the next morning or be at work at 8 a.m. And anyway, I hope you guys understand that you won't be getting a little bit of content just for a little bit. Again, I'm going to be working on stuff, but you just won't be seeing any videos within the next week and a half, possibly 2 weeks. But I hope you guys understand. And again, I hope you guys had a really good time with my 31 Nights, 31 Frights series. I had a lot of fun making these videos. I love talking about horror films. They're my favorite genre. I'm a little horror movied out. As you can probably imagine, I've watched a crap ton of horror movies, the most I've ever watched in a single month. but I had a lot of fun watching them. I saw some ones that I've never seen before, which was great. One that I've never heard of and watched at a friend's house, and I want to do like a reaction video to it. I want to sit down and watch the entire movie and just react to it because it's that bonkers. It's called Doom Asylum. Check it out. It's an hour and 18 minutes and it feels like 4 hours. But yeah, that is it for today, guys. As always, if you liked the video, make sure to click the like button. Subscribe to me if you want to hear more from me. Make sure to click the little bell notification button so that you do get notified when I post new videos. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.